Around 20% of Hashimoto's thyroiditis disappear by itself spontaneously, and even more if people actually try to heal it naturally. The question is, why does nobody talk about it? Why do doctors never say that to the patients? All they say is, this is incurable, it's for all your life, you can manage it, but you cannot cure it. You'll have to take medicines all your life. It's only gonna get worse and your thyroid will eventually stop. Yeah, awesome. Thanks for motivation. Thanks for knocking out any kind of feeling of control out of my heart. Thank you very much for that. But unfortunately, that's what, the official stance on Hashimoto's thyroiditis is, or any kind of autoimmune disease. It's just not right. So I decided to challenge that and cure myself naturally. Hi guys, I'm back with another video, and I know I'm around a month late. I'm so sorry. It seems like I'm so good at disappearing, but that's because I'm still living without electricity and it's really difficult for me to keep up. By the time I finish replying to emails and comments, I'm already exhausted because I'm away from my home. So I just really want to say thank you for sticking with me during this difficult time of living without electricity. It's been almost a year now. I cannot believe how long it's been. So thank you for your support. Thank you for all your love, and let's hope the electricity will be back soon. But anyway, let's get back to this video. So in this video, I really wanted to share with you all of the things I'm doing to heal my thyroid naturally. As you know, I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's thyroiditis and subclinical hypothyroidism around 2 or 3 months ago. And I've been taking certain steps to heal myself naturally because I'm not the kind of person who likes taking drugs, and I'm not taking any kind of drugs and I never will. I hope I won't have to eat my words, but I'd rather use natural remedies and lifestyle changes and diet changes to heal myself naturally. And so far it's been working beautifully. I feel like a new person. I feel like I'm back to my normal self. I'm feeling much better. I'm feeling much more energetic, much more positive. Everything's working better. My skin is the clearest it's ever been, and it's working. So I guess this video is all about that. And if you have a plain hypothyroid without autoimmune issues, or if you have Hashimoto's thyroiditis like me, or if you have any kind of other autoimmune disorders, you will probably find this video helpful, because no matter what your symptoms are, the steps to heal and finding the root cause are very, very similar. So keep watching and I hope you find it useful. So Hashimoto's thyroiditis is a systemic problem. A lot of doctors treat it as a problem with the thyroid, but it's not. It's the problem with your whole body. It's your immune system fighting parts of your body. So if you want to heal it, you have to look at your body holistically and treat body, spirit and mind, everything at once, otherwise it's not going to work. I prefer to look at Hashimoto's thyroiditis as a simple inflammation. If I cool it down, it will let me live my life. Simple. After reading loads of research in the last few months, I decided to use a 3-pronged approach to my fight with Hashimoto's thyroiditis. So first of all, I have to improve my FT4 to FT3 conversion, because that's the real reason behind my hypothyroid symptoms and my fatigue. The next area that I'm going to focus on is improving my digestive system and make my body burn fuel more cleanly. And the last area I'm going to look at is reducing inflammation. So these are the 3 parts of my healing, and now let's get into the different steps and see what exactly I'm doing. So the first thing I'm going to focus on is balancing my sex hormones, and that's very, very important for all of us modern females, because a lot of us have been taking the birth control pill, and I've been taking it for 10 years. I'm not taking it anymore. I stopped around 3 years ago, I believe, but I did in the past and it messed me up quite bad. I definitely have to make a video in the future about why it's dangerous to take birth control pills and natural alternatives. So if you would like to see that, let me know. Another reason why I'm looking into hormonal balance is because my mom had always been estrogen dominant, and she had a few estrogen dominant diseases in her life. She also had to have hysterectomy because she nearly bled to death. She also had a beginning of breast cancer, which is also estrogen dominant, and she struggled all of her life, really. So I'm very similar to her, and I'm determined not to go the same route. So that's why I'm trying to heal myself. And I also took a blood test to check my estrogen and progesterone levels, to check if I have estrogen dominance, and just like I suspected, I am slightly estrogen dominant. So I am trying to bring my estrogen down, because my progesterone is already right. So if I bring my estrogen down, then the ratio will be perfect. So my main weapon in this fight against too much estrogen is something called DIM, or DIM. Basically, it's a kind of extract of cruciferous vegetables, which converts the bad kind of, dangerous kind of estrogen to the ones that are not dangerous for the body. And it's very, very well known for fighting acne. And I've been taking it for around a month. My skin is amazing. It's the most beautiful it's ever been. I'm so impressed. I don't know if it's this supplement or if it's all the other things I'm doing, but whatever I'm doing is really working, because my skin has been spotless for the last couple of weeks. So I definitely love this supplement. I'll be talking about that in the future. So the next thing I'm focusing on is getting enough selenium, because selenium is very important for the conversion of FT4 to FT3 and getting more energy and feeling like the thyroid is working properly. I either take 200 micrograms of selenium in the form called selenomethionine, which apparently is the easiest one to absorb, or I simply take 2 or 3 Brazil nuts a day, and 200 micrograms is around the amount that anybody with Hashimoto thyroiditis needs. And for a lot of people, just taking selenium and not changing anything else was already enough to bring down the antibodies quite a bit. So that's why I'm trying it out. The next thing that is also very important, and it also plays a very similar role to selenium, and that's zinc. Because zinc also plays a very important role in the FT4 to FT3 conversion. And because I was taking birth control pills for so long, birth control pills unfortunately deplete the levels of zinc. That's why it's important for anybody who's been taking birth control pills for a long time to supplement with it. And also anybody who has any kind of skin issues or dry skin or peeling skin is definitely zinc deficient, and I did have those problems for a long time. So I take around 25 milligrams of zinc picolinate every single day, or if I forget, that's fine, but I take it most days. The next thing I'm doing is up there in the importance together with DIM or DIM, and that's magnesium. When I was on the paleo diet, I was badly magnesium deficient because of the paleo diet itself, and because of not eating legumes and grains, which are also magnesium sources. Magnesium is important for the thyroid because if you get a lot of vitamin D from the sun or supplements, and I'm getting a lot of vitamin D here, plus if you're magnesium deficient, or if you get a lot of calcium from your diet or supplements, you're gonna create a little bit of a disaster in your body, because there'll be a lot of calcification going on. And some of these calcifications are deposited in the thyroid, which could be a cause of hypothyroid and also Hashimoto's. And that could have been what happened to me. But I started taking around 300 milligrams of magnesium citrate every single day, and it made such a difference, not just for my energy levels, but also for my teeth. If I forget to take it for 3 days, I feel such an incredible tension in my whole body, my jaw and my muscles and my joints. I get a headache. I feel totally off. But when I take magnesium, I feel very balanced and calm. So, you know, that's the reason why it's called natural calm. It really does work so well. Now, talking about magnesium, I cannot avoid mentioning another thing that kind of goes hand in hand, and that's calcium. I used to consume way too much calcium, and I've cut it down. I was off dairy for a couple of months, but I'm back to eating it now. It's very high quality, mostly raw, mostly goat, and it works beautifully for me. It doesn't do any kind of damage, but I try to keep the levels of calcium to around 700 milligrams a day. It's very important to keep the right ratio between magnesium and calcium. The ratio should be 1-to-1 or even 2-to-1, but you should not eat more calcium than magnesium, because that's going to throw your system off. And that's what I've been trying, and it's been working incredibly well since I started doing that. My energy went through the roof, and my teeth are finally totally healed. So I learned about this from a great book, and I'm going to link that down in the description box. It was all about magnesium, and it really opened my eyes about so many things. I highly recommend it. The next thing I'm focusing on is reducing cortisol levels using something called adaptogenic herbs. So there are a lot of adaptogenic herbs, and what they do is basically balance your body. So if you're lacking in something, they're going to increase it. If you have too much of something, they're going to decrease it. They're just very clever plants. And the particular ones I'm using is something called Balanced Rhodiola Complex from Solgar. I'm not such a big fan of it. I think it probably works, but I don't see any kind of extra results from it. And I believe that's because rhodiola increases the two different immune systems that we have, Th1 and Th2, and it's a huge topic. I can't really go much into detail because this video will be 2 hours long. But basically, people with autoimmune issues generally have one of the parts of the immune system overactive and the other one not active enough. So in my case, I think it's the Th2 that is overactive. The problem with rhodiola is that it increases both of them, so it's probably not the best plant to use for anybody with autoimmune issues. But I'm trying it out because that's the only thing I could find locally, and it's alright. Apparently it helps with people with depression and low energy. But there are 2 other things that I believe are much better for my particular situation, and they are ashwagandha and holy basil, or it's also called tulsi. So I ordered those online. They haven't arrived yet, but I'm super excited about getting them. Ashwagandha is something that is super well known for improving thyroid function and giving people more energy and improving their mood. And that's because ashwagandha also improves the conversion of F2-4 to F2-3, which is exactly what I need, because that's the main problem with my thyroid. While doing that, it also reduces the cortisol levels. Now, tulsi or holy basil is also mostly known for its cortisol reducing properties, which is perfect for me. How do I know I have problems with cortisol? Because my blood sugar is always a little bit elevated in the morning at fasting as soon as I get up, as soon as I wake up, but it's normal throughout the rest of the day, which is a sign that my cortisol is too high in the morning, and that's why I am trying to heal it. The reason why it's so important to get rid of excess cortisol is because too much cortisol interferes with F2-4 to F2-3 conversion as well. So you're probably noticing a pattern here. All these steps I'm taking are in order to improve the F2-4 to F2-3 conversion, which is a huge problem for so many of us. The next step I'm taking is improving my digestion, and I'm doing that mainly by increasing my stomach acid. I believe I suffer from something called low stomach acid, and I also have something called silent acid reflux, which is nowadays called LPR. And I've just recently found out I had it. I had these symptoms literally from my birth, and nobody ever knew what the hell it was. I thought it was some kind of allergies, hay fever, sinus issues, or lung issues. I never knew what it was, but it was bothering me so much. And my mum is exactly the same, so I believe it's genetic. And all of it is because of not having enough stomach acid. So what happens when somebody's low in stomach acid? Well, basically protein and food in general, but especially protein, is not broken down properly, and these particles that are larger than normal get into the intestines, and they cause all kinds of problems, and the body looks at them as if they were foreign objects, and the whole immune system starts fighting against them, and that's how it gets overreactive and starts enjoying the party too much, and then starts attacking other parts of the body, such as thyroid or intestines in the case of celiac disease. And that's a really nasty thing, and that's really the start of autoimmune diseases, the start of things like rosacea or acne or any kind of skin issues. That's the reason for chronic fatigue. That's the reason for all kinds of food intolerances and celiac disease, and really I believe it's the root cause of most of my problems, probably Hashimoto's and hypothyroidism as well. Also, obviously, if the food is not digested properly, it's easy to get all kinds of nutrient deficiencies, such as selenium and zinc and iron and B12 and a lot of different ones. So I'm doing a few things to fix my stomach acid. I'm doing a few DIY simple things, so I'm waiting for some supplements to arrive. And the first thing I tried was taking some lemon juice every single day before every single food. I tried apple cider vinegar, but apple cider vinegar really doesn't agree with me, but lemon juice works super well. I also got some digestive bitters, and I take a teaspoon diluted in some water after every single meal, and that's supposed to increase stomach juices as well, and to help the stomach digest everything. I also got some digestive enzymes, which also help to break down all the food and digest it better. And finally, there's one more thing I ordered but I haven't received yet, and that thing is supposed to be the most life-changing thing I've ever tried, and that's called Betaine HCl with Pepsin. Yes, I got it right. And that is basically like a stomach acid replacement, and it slowly teaches your body to get used to having proper acid, and your body is kind of retrained to produce it again, and after a while you can wean yourself off, and then the stomach should work really well. So I'm really hopeful about that. Of course, I'll keep you posted, but all these things should keep my digestion working really well, and hopefully this will sort all the other problems out. Okay, now I guess it's time to move on to things related to the diet. And the first thing I'm doing is I'm still staying off gluten, because I don't think that gluten is inherently bad, not at all, for somebody with a healthy, well-functioning system, digestive system. But in my case, because of low stomach acid and because of my autoimmune issues, for now I'm willing to stay off gluten, because gluten molecules are very similar to the thyroid molecules, and the body can get confused and start fighting against gluten and against thyroid at the same time. So just to be on the safe side, I'm staying away for now, but I definitely plan to try and reintroduce properly prepared gluten in the future. I just don't think it's healthy to get rid of whole food groups or foods, because from my experience and from other people's experiences, it seems that the more foods you eliminate, the more sensitivities you're going to have in the future, and it's just such a vicious circle, and you'll probably reach a point where you hardly have anything left to eat, and this is just not a life. I don't want to end up like this, so I'd rather fix my digestion rather than stay away from foods that could be perfectly healthy. My next weapon is, of course, a clean diet. I'm not fanatical, I'm not following any kind of fanatical dogmatic diets anymore, but I follow kind of loosely something called the Perfect Health Diet by the Jaminids, but I modified it to fit my needs, and so I include legumes every single day, and I include some gluten-free grains from time to time as well. I just believe that they are perfectly healthy foods if they're prepared properly, and there's no reason to be so limited and to slow down your thyroid even more by following something as restrictive as, let's say, autoimmune paleo or GAPS. It's just not my style. I'm not going down that route again. Next thing I'm trying is metabolism boosting yoga. There are certain positions that are meant to improve your thyroid function, because when you're upside down and when you have some light pressure on that part of the body, there's a lot more blood flow, and the blood brings a lot of activity in the area, and so it's supposed to improve the thyroid function. My best friend in the yoga world is Slim Calm Sexy Yoga by Tara Stiles. I love this book. I bought 2 yoga books recently, but this one is my best. I absolutely love it, and there is a yoga workout in there which is called Metabolism Boosting Yoga, and I love it. It works really well. My next point is exercising. I promise myself to only exercise when my body craves the moment. I am not going to force my body to do anything it doesn't want to do. I don't believe in all this no pain, no gain bullshit and things like that. My body knows better. If it's tired, if it's aching, if it doesn't want to exercise, that's fine. I'm just going to let it rest. And instead, if it's full of energy, it wants to go running, it wants to do exercises, that's what I'm going to let it do. I'll do some gentle exercises, but I will not do any chronic cardio. I will not do anything that I feel is straining me. I will not burn myself out again. I promise that to myself, and that's really something I owe to my body. The next thing, of course, is leading a healthy, relaxed lifestyle. So a lot of walks in the nature, a lot of fresh air, regular trips to the seaside, which really, they're not really long trips. It's just 5 minutes away from home by car. A lot of hiking out in the nature, because that's what relaxes me, grounds me, inspires me, and really gives me a lot of energy. So I'm definitely going to do that regularly. The next point is getting enough sleep. I promised myself to get at least 8 hours of sleep every day, but if I have a chance, even 8 to 10 hours, even 9 to 10 hours, because sleep is so important for healing, especially for somebody with thyroid problems. We people with low thyroid, we could sleep for literally 12 hours, 14 hours, no problem. I could sleep forever. I'm that tired generally. So sleep is important. If I don't sleep enough during the night, I make sure I have a little nap in the afternoon. The next thing I'm trying to get into is meditation, because meditation really calms down the mind and relaxes the body and reduces the cortisol and reduces the inflammation, and it's just a huge part in anybody's healing. So I'm trying to either simply try and close my eyes for 5 minutes in a calm corner and just focus on my breathing and not think about anything, and that already helps me so much. But I also am trying out a 21-day challenge by Deepak Chopra, which is also awesome. It really teaches you about all the different kinds of meditations and gets you into the habit, because they say that it takes 21 days to get into the habit of doing something. So after those 21 days of challenge, you can continue doing yoga independently and it will be a habit for you. So I am about to start the challenge again. I tried before, but I failed. But this time I will really try to stick to it. Another thing that I've been really working on for a long time, but I especially intensified my efforts in the last month or so, and that's positive affirmations. The best person to look towards if you're interested in positive affirmations is Louise. She wrote this amazing book called You Can Heal Your Life, and there's another book called Heal Your Health. Heal Your Body, sorry. And she is really the queen of affirmations. That woman went through so much in her life and she managed to heal herself, her body and her soul. She's such an inspiration for me, and whenever I feel doubtful or stressed or I feel like I'm not enough, I use some of her affirmations and they really help me so much. I also try to look at the mirror and tell myself that I'm enough, that I love myself. You know, this exercise of actually looking at yourself in the mirror and saying that you love yourself, that you are enough, that you are beautiful, that you are worthy. It's so embarrassing at the beginning, and I felt so ashamed, and I didn't really sound very convincing, but with every single time it gets easier and easier, and it's just a brilliant way to go about life, because loving yourself and being kind to yourself is really, really the cornerstone of anybody's healing journey, in my opinion. And one last thing I wanted to mention is just trying to stay away from negative emotions and negative people, because life is too short. You know, if somebody makes me really tired, or if somebody keeps complaining all the time and just talks about negative things, I try to distance myself from them. I'm not mean, I'm just trying to protect myself, because really life is too short, and I'd rather surround myself with people who are inspiring and who are going to fill my heart with joy. The same thing goes for movies. I try to stay away from horror movies or, you know, shoot and kill movies, action movies, things like that, especially in the evening before going to bed, because I just don't want those negative emotions in me. The same thing counts for news, world news. I have no wish to read about cancer stories or about some kind of homicide, about murders. I don't want to know that, and I'm going to protect myself from that no matter what, and I just block those things so I don't see them. And that really helps me keep myself sane in this crazy world. These are all the things I'm doing to heal myself, and as I said, they're working beautifully. I hope that you'll find these ideas inspiring and useful for your own health journey. If you find this helpful, please like this video. I really need your support to, you know, spread my message around. Thank you so much for watching. And if you have any kind of other tips or things that I could try, please leave them down in the comment. And I guess I'll see you in my next video. Oh, by the way, that video with my garden tour is not going to happen because we had a big storm and it destroyed everything. So I have to replant everything, and then hopefully in a month or two it will be ready. But until then, that video is not going to happen. So sorry about that. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.